There are a few small things you can do each day that make your dog feel more secure, more understood, and more connected to you. They don't require extra time or special tools, just a shift in how you move through the day together. Most people never discover them, even though their dogs keep asking in subtle ways. Once you learn them, though, you'll feel the difference almost immediately. So let's explore these quiet habits that can deepen your bond in ways you've probably never been told about. If this resonates with you already, you're welcome to like the video and subscribe so we can keep growing this connection together. Number 1. The 10-second silent eye contact ritual. It's strange how a moment as small as a quiet glance can shift the entire mood of a living being. You've probably seen it yourself. Your dog looking at you with that soft, hopeful expression, waiting for something you can't quite name. In those seconds, they aren't asking for treats or instructions. They're reaching for a kind of connection that slips past words entirely. When you meet that look with calm, wordless attention, something changes inside both of you, even if you don't feel it right away. Your dog's body loosens, their breath slows, and a sense of safety settles between you, almost like you've both momentarily stepped out of the noise of the day. And it's that softness, not the stare, not the command, that tells their nervous system they're safe with you in ways nothing else quite can. Number 2. The consent-based touch game. Have you ever noticed how your dog sometimes leans in for affection and other times quietly turns their head away, as if hoping you won't insist? It's easy to miss that difference, especially when you're offering love in the only way you know how. But dogs have their own rhythms, their own thresholds, and they often choose politeness over clarity because they don't want to disappoint you. When you pause after a few seconds of touch and give them the chance to ask for more, you're telling them they don't have to hide what they truly feel. That tiny moment of choice softens something deep inside them, easing the tension they didn't even realize they were carrying. And once they learn that your hands respond to their voice, not your assumptions, the way they approach you begins to shift in the most honest, gentle ways. Number 3. The forgotten tension zones. You notice it most when your dog finally relaxes beside you, stretching their paws just a little farther than usual, as if revealing a secret they've been carrying all day. We rarely think about the places where stress hides in their bodies, mostly because they don't complain, and we're used to touching only the obvious spots. But tucked between their toes, in those tiny spaces you almost never reach, your dog stores the kind of tension that builds quietly with every startled moment and every uncertain pause. When you gently trace those areas, you can feel the difference. The way their toes soften, the way their breath shifts, the way their whole body seems to register that someone finally noticed. And the same thing happens at the base of their chest, where their front legs connect, a place they can't reach on their own and yet rely on constantly. Touching that hidden pocket of pressure doesn't just soothe them, it changes the way they carry themselves afterward, like they've been given permission to exhale in a way they haven't in a long time. Number 4. Giving dogs a purposeful job. Most dogs are far more stressed than they look, simply because they have nothing in their day that truly belongs to them. You can feel it in the way they hover, waiting for direction, hoping for a role, but never quite being given one. They watch you move through your routines, ready to help, ready to matter. And yet, the moment never comes, because we assume love and comfort are enough. But dogs are creatures built for purpose. And when you hand them a task that's theirs alone, something small, something consistent, you awaken a part of them that's been quiet for too long. It doesn't need to be impressive. It only needs to be real, something you and your dog both treat as meaningful. And when they take that job seriously, when you see that spark of responsibility light up in them, you start to understand that what they wanted wasn't perfection or praise, it was the feeling of being needed, truly and undeniably, by you. Number 5. Giving real choices and agency. The funny thing is that we spend so much time trying to make life easier for our dogs that we accidentally take away the one thing their minds quietly crave, the ability to choose. You decide when they go out, when they rest, when they play, and over time, they learn to wait instead of think. It looks like obedience, but inside it feels more like life on rails, where every path is already chosen for them. When you offer a small, harmless choice, a moment where they get to decide what happens next, You can almost see their mind flicker back on, curious and awake. It's in that gentle hesitation, that tiny pause before they move, that their brain begins to stretch in new directions, remembering what it's like to influence their own world. And the more often they're allowed to feel that spark of agency, the more confident, attuned, and deeply connected they become. Not because you're leading them, but because you're finally walking beside them. Number 6. Matching energy before redirecting. There's a moment every dog owner knows. The moment your dog rushes toward you, overflowing with a kind of joy that feels almost too big for their body. Most people instinctively try to settle that excitement, smoothing it down like a wrinkle that shouldn't be there. But dogs don't experience emotion the way we do, and trying to calm them before meeting them where they are can feel, to them, like a door closing mid-stride. When you take a breath and join their energy for just a few seconds, something remarkable happens. They feel seen instead of corrected. That brief alignment, that tiny act of matching their state before guiding it, makes their emotions feel safe, not risky or unwanted. And once they sense that safety, they let you lead them back into calm, with a softness that doesn't come from obedience, but from trust. The kind that grows only when a dog realizes you're willing to feel alongside them, not just manage them. Number 7. The daily hidden food brain game. And once you notice how deeply dogs respond to emotional connection, you start to see how their minds hunger for a different kind of engagement too. It's easy to assume a walk or a game of fetch is enough, but a dog's brain doesn't wake up from movement alone. There's a quiet boredom that settles in when they're not thinking, a kind of mental stillness that looks peaceful on the outside, but leaves their inner world untouched. When you hide just a single piece of their regular food somewhere unexpected, you're giving them a chance to switch from waiting to searching, from passive to alive. Their nose drops to the ground, their pace changes, and suddenly their whole brain lights up in ways you can feel even before you can explain. And in those 2 minutes of gentle problem solving, your dog gets something they rarely find in the predictable rhythm of home life. A moment where curiosity becomes purpose, and purpose becomes joy. Number 8. Structured variation in routine. At first it seems like dogs love nothing more than the comfort of sameness. But that's only half the story. They settle into routines because it helps them predict the world. Yet too much predictability slowly dulls the spark that keeps them adaptable. You've probably seen it, the hesitation when something tiny changes, the way they pause a little longer, unsure of what to do without the usual pattern to guide them. When you shift just one small detail in their day, not enough to unsettle them, but enough to make them notice, you give their mind a chance to stretch in a safe, gentle way. They start paying closer attention, not out of anxiety, but out of curiosity, as if their world has become just a little more alive. And over time, these small variations build a quiet resilience in them, the kind that makes unexpected moments feel less like disruptions and more like invitations to explore rather than retreat. Number 9. The pre-bed chemical bonding moment. You sit down at the end of the day, and your dog quietly settles beside you, as if they've been waiting for that exact breath you just took. Their body softens, their ears shift, and something in the room grows still in a way that feels different from the rest of the day. It's in these quiet minutes that you start noticing the tiny details you usually rush past. The way they exhale when they feel safe, the small tilt of their head when they're listening only to you. As your attention lingers on those little things, your own body begins to change without you trying, releasing the warmth of emotions you didn't realize were building under the surface. Your dog doesn't need words to understand it. They feel it in the air, in the way your scent shifts, in the subtle emotional signature they've learned to read better than anyone else. And when they absorb that softness, when they tuck themselves a little closer, as if settling into the feeling of you, something in their inner world expands too, shaping the quiet truth of who they trust and who they are when they're finally at rest. There's a certain calm that settles in when you realize how many ways your dog has been asking for connection, and how many times you've already given it without thinking. Even if you've overlooked a few signals, your presence has always meant more to them than your precision. What matters most is the awareness that grows in you, the kind that turns ordinary moments into something your dog can lean into. And when that awareness deepens, Your dog begins to show you the version of themselves that only appears in a life filled with safety and love. That version speaks through small, almost invisible habits that tell a story many people never learn to read. They're the clearest signs that your dog's world is finally feeling whole. If you'd like to understand those signs together, follow me into the next chapter.